Geronimo Stilton, a clever and curious mouse, loved exploring the dusty, whispering aisles of the village library. The library was a beautiful old building with towering oak bookshelves and cozy reading nooks. On this particular evening, Geronimo found himself working late, lost among the enchanting stories and adventures stored within the books. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, an eerie silence enveloped the library. Geronimo was deeply engrossed in an ancient book about legendary cheese recipes when he suddenly heard a curious noise that made his whiskers quiver. It was as if the library itself was waking up from a long nap. Thud, thud, thud. The sound echoed through the aisles as books began falling off the shelves one by one. Geronimo felt a shiver run down his spine. Who or what could be causing this mysterious ruckus? Mustered with courage, Geronimo tiptoed towards the source of the noise, his small paws barely making a sound on the wooden floor. His heart raced as he peeked around the corner of a bookshelf. Instead of a ghostly figure, he found a trail of fallen books leading to the library's restricted section, a place he had always been curious about. Breathing deeply, he followed the trail. He squeezed through the slightly ajar gate that led to shelves housing forbidden tomes. As he progressed, he noticed a book glowing with a soft golden light, gently vibrating as if impatient. Curiosity piqued, Geronimo gingerly picked up the glowing book, surprised to find it was a magical diary. The diary spoke in a soft, sing-song voice, revealing it had been lonely, locked away for so long. Its power to rearrange and release books was its only way to get attention. Excited by his discovery, Geronimo promised the diary he would read its stories and share them with others. In return, the library became a favorite spot for Geronimo, who spent many a night listening to the enchanting tales only he and the diary knew, a secret whispered only between pages and mouse. Oliver had always been fascinated by the stories his grandmother told him about the old library's ghost. He was an ancient spirit trapped between the pages, she would whisper, adding a touch of mystery to every tale. Oliver loved books, and the thought of meeting a ghost who shared his passion was thrilling. Night after night, he visited the library, staying just a little later each time to catch a glimpse of the supernatural resident. One night, as the clock neared midnight, Oliver decided to hide behind a towering bookshelf with dusty spines that hadn't been touched for quite some time. He knew the ghost was said to roam this aisle, where rare books filled the shelves like precious gems in a treasure chest. With a torch clutched tightly in his hand, Oliver peeked through the gaps between books, eager and frightened all at once. An icy draft slithered through the aisle, sending shivers down his spine. Suddenly, a shadowy figure moved gracefully in the dim light. A ghost! Oliver whispered, his voice trembling, barely audible over the silence. The shadow lingered for a moment before sweeping towards him, revealing itself to be a specter cloaked in pages, with eyes like deep ink wells. "Why do you tremble, young reader?" the ghost inquired, his voice like the rustle of paper in a quiet room. "I've always wanted to meet you," Oliver confessed, his fear slowly dissolving into awe. The ghost was surprised. "Most who come here fear my presence," he mused as he floated closer, casting gentle light over Oliver's curious face. "I've heard you're trapped between books. Is it true?" Oliver asked. With a wise nod, the ghost replied, "Yes, a spell cast long ago keeps me bound to these pages. Only someone who truly understands the love of stories can set me free." Oliver's eyes widened with wonder. "Can I help you?" The ghost smiled and nodded once more. "Find the book titled The Last Tale, and read it aloud until the final word dances off your tongue." Oliver spent days searching, eyes scanning shelves like an explorer unearthing history's secrets. One afternoon, he discovered The Last Tale, its cover thick with dust and mystery. With a deep breath, Oliver began reading the rich tapestry of words. Each sentence was more magical than the last. As he reached the final passage, the room glowed with warmth and color, and the ghost transformed into shimmering golden light. "Thank you, young Oliver," the liberated spirit whispered, disappearing into the ether. The ghost left behind a trail of twinkling stars. Standing alone in the library, Oliver felt a new chapter begin in his life, one where he would forever cherish the spirit of stories and friendship. Once upon a time, in the village of Lumenshire, there lived a curious young boy named Sammy. Sammy was known for his adventurous spirit and a knack for seeking out hidden mysteries. On one particularly eerie night, Sammy noticed a shadowy figure moving silently through the trees, illuminated only by the moonlight. Grabbing his trusty flashlight, Sammy decided to follow the mysterious figure. As he tiptoed along the dusty path, he realized the figure was heading towards the old archives, an abandoned building that village folk said was haunted. Sammy, determined to uncover the truth, quietly followed behind. When the figure reached the archives, it disappeared into the darkness within. Summoning his courage, Sammy clicked on his flashlight and proceeded inside. The archives were filled with ancient books and scrolls, their fading pages whispering secrets of years gone by. Suddenly, the lights began to flicker, casting eerie shadows that danced like silent phantoms. Out of the flickering gloom, something leapt towards Sammy, causing him to gasp aloud. It was an enormous puppet. Sammy stumbled backwards, dropping his light. Sammy then realized it was all part of the confirmation process, a trap set by his friend, Ella, who had joined him in the mystery. "Sorry, Sammy," Ella laughed, turning on a lantern. "Ella, you scared me half to death," Sammy exclaimed, relief washing over him. "I thought it was some ghostly ghoul." Ella giggled and explained, "I wanted to test your bravery. Now that you've passed, we can explore these archives together. Who knows what other secrets await us?" Feeling emboldened, Sammy agreed, and together they delved deeper into the heart of the archives, ready to uncover tales that had been locked away for centuries. From hidden passageways to forgotten treasures, their adventure sparked the beginning of a lifelong friendship on the unending quest for knowledge and mystery. And so, the lights stopped flickering, as Sammy and Ella realized that sometimes the bravest explorers are those who see through the shadows not with fear, but curiosity. Trap Stilton was an excited little mouse with a nose that could sniff out cooked cheese from miles away. He had spent most of his afternoons exploring the nooks and crannies of the bustling city of Cheddarville, always on the lookout for delicious discoveries. Today, he found himself at the old library, a grand and dusty palace of stories and secrets. He was on the hunt for something very special, the one and only Cheesealicious cookbook. Rumor had it among the mice of Cheddarville that this cookbook contained the most magical cheesy recipes ever to grace a platter. "If I can find this book, I'll be the talk of the mouse town," Trap thought to himself as he scampered through the aisles, each one filled with towering shelves of books reaching up to the sky. Suddenly, a large shadow loomed over him, and there standing tall was Mr. Gruyere, the grumpy librarian. With his big round glasses perched on the tip of his nose, Mr. Gruyere asked, "And what are you up to, young Stilton?" with a raised eyebrow and a stern squint. Trap's whiskers twitched nervously. "Oh, nothing much. Just browsing," he squeaked innocently, his paws crossed behind his back. But Mr. Gruyere wasn't convinced. In the mouse world, Trap was known for his cheeky antics and sometimes found himself in a spot of bother. Trap wiggled his tail towards the back of the library, trying to slip away. Just as he thought he had made his getaway, a bookcase wobbled. He had accidentally nudged it just a bit too hard. Down tumbled the books, creating a chaotic avalanche of pages and covers. There, amidst the pile, Trap caught sight of an unusually colorful book titled Cheesealicious Cookbook. "There it is," Trap chirped. Suddenly, his mission had turned into an unexpected triumph. As he pulled the book free, he saw a smiling Mr. Gruyere behind him. "I knew you were up to something, young Stilton. You and your cheese-hunting ways," the librarian chuckled, helping Trap to gather himself and the fallen books. "Just make sure you put everything back where you found them next time." Trap Stilton's whiskers twinkled with joy and relief. "Yes, absolutely, Mr. Gruyere," he promised, clapping his paws excitedly. With the Cheeselicious cookbook tucked securely under his paw, Trap left the library. That day, Trap Stilton not only found the rare cheese cookbook, but made a friend in Mr. Gruyere, learning that sometimes adventures bring unexpected friendships along the way. Geronimo Stilton was a clever mouse who lived in the bustling city of New Mouse City. He worked as a newspaper editor at the Rodents Gazette, and although he loved his job, what he loved more was a quiet and peaceful night. One such evening, as he sat down with his favorite book and a plate of delicious cheese snacks, he heard a sudden creak from the attic. The creak grew into a howl, as if a gust of windy ghosts swirled up in the attic. Geronimo's spine tingled, his tail twitched, and his whiskers shook with fear. "I never believed in ghosts," he murmured to himself, "but maybe it's time to believe." Unable to ignore the mysterious sounds, Geronimo gingerly trotted towards the attic. His heart pounded loud as he pushed open the creaky attic door with a shaky paw. But as the door swung open, the ghostly wail transformed into peals of laughter echoing eerily through the dim attic space. With great caution, Geronimo turned on the light and squinted to see something very unexpected. Standing amidst an avalanche of scattered cheese wrappers and surrounded by numerous glowing candles was none other than his mischievous cousin, Benjamin. "Surprise!" shouted Benjamin, as he doubled over in laughter. "I thought I'd give you a little scare." Geronimo sighed in relief, feeling much sillier than scared. "You really got me there, Benjamin," he chuckled. While relieved there were no spooky specters haunting his peaceful night, part of him was thrilled by the playful prank. They spent the rest of the night together, laughing over the night's antics. Benjamin, always the prankster, made them some cheese fondue, and Geronimo fetched some of his favorite books. They snuggled under the warm glow of the attic lights, reading tales of adventure and mystery, sharing the cheese snacks Benjamin had insisted on bringing. By the end of the night, with full stomachs and light hearts, they drifted off into a peaceful sleep amidst half-read books and remnants of their cheese feast. In New Mouse City, this kind of night was what Geronimo treasured, the warmth of family fun on an unexpected, ghost-free evening.